Okay, traders, thanks for reviewing this video. Just wanted to come in, see a couple things here on the markets, and I wanted to go ahead and see about placing a trade, and just wanted to throw up, wrap this around a video here, see if I can get this predefined. So really quick, we're going to run through my thought process here and just look at the larger time frame. So I'm looking at as index futures of the S&P here. Just want to show the larger time frame first, and we're looking at a daily chart here. And so the idea here is just what I'm looking for is, are we closer to supply or demand, major imbalances in the large time frame. It really tells me, whether the higher probabilities are with the downside or the upside. So what I'm looking at here, come in. Well, actually, I've already had that drawn in. So what we did is we've been talking about this level for quite a while now. Okay, and so we really have penetrated up into that level, and we're starting to show some pretty good weakness. So that really leads me to believe that we're pretty high on the altitude, and that the probability lies with the sellers and not so much with the buyers. At least not until we get back. Okay, not too much concerned with the buyers. Okay, until we reach that back into that 1400 level. This doesn't look like a good distance on the chart here, but this is a daily chart. So, if you can see, we're all the way up at the 1413 is where we're trading right now. So it's a pretty good distance down, about 13 points down. So that's plenty for intraday trading, and if we can get the opportunity, that is. Okay, so that's a pretty quick analysis on the larger time frame. Again, I was just really interested in, am I looking at, what's the larger time frame trying to tell me, and who am I on board with? Okay, do I want to continue to be a buyer up into these areas where the sellers control the markets, or do I want to kind of back off of the buying and start applying the selling? So I'm going to drop down to the smaller time frame now, as that's giving me all the analysis that I needed. And now my question kind of sits here. Well, if we see this right now, we actually have a pretty good setup coming in. A lot of potential supply about to take place in the market here. Okay, so two things that I'm looking at right now. I'm gonna go ahead and place an entry here, and the reason being is because of that larger time frame picture. It's really telling me that the sellers in this case are a bit, the probability is in their favor. So if I go ahead and grab a horizontal line here, I can really kind of draw in some lines. Okay, so I'm really looking at that 1420.21 level, with the high of that level at 1424. So what I'm going to come up here and do is go ahead and place an entry, and go ahead and place that entry in there. All right, so
order submitted.
So we now have a sell limit order at the 1421.5. That's pretty good for me, as I'm comfortable with the risk as my stop. So what we'll do is go ahead and work out this entire trade here. All right, and we'll place that. Okay, so as you can see now, my stop is above the level. We have an entry right into the level, and then a few profit targets below. We'll come back in and analyze this as we revisit this for the first time as far as our profit targets. The best scenario would be a clean arrival. So if we kind of have a rally back up and a clean arrival, that would be the best scenario, because at that point I would feel very confident that we would revisit these lows and even much further, all the way back down into these couple of areas here. So that's just an intraday rather outlook. So we'll kind of leave that up on the charts. The second scenario is that we base here. So we really are showing a lot of weakness, and we knew this well in advance, as we are reaching high levels of altitude where the sellers control the markets, and what I'm seeing is continued weakness out of that level on the smaller time frame. So when I see this on the smaller time frame, it makes me believe that, well, not only is there potential large money, like professional, institutions and so on, not only is the large money selling, but we also have, intraday now areas of supply as well. So we can reduce our risk and enter on a short-term trade out of this level here. Now, again, we can also look at a potential breakdown. Okay, so oftentimes when there's a large stack of orders in the market, what order flow, if we refer to it as that, Excuse my sniffles. But with the short setup like this, we may not even revisit this level, and that would make perfectly good sense because we're on such a the daily chart becoming again. We'll go back to that. I mean, it would make perfectly good sense. Okay, because of there's such a decline in price here on a daily chart. So when we come back to revisit it on the hourly chart. Again, the probabilities to the downside, the question is, are we just going to continue to drop here, or are we going to actually rally back up into our supply before we do that? So in order for me to take a short position here, I want to see this base, and then I just want to play a breakout to the downside. If I don't really choose to play breakouts very much, and the reason because they're very low probability unless you know exactly where to place them, and this being one of the areas. So we'll go ahead and wrap a circle around it. This is absolutely one of the areas in which does interest me as a breakout trade. When I'm looking for breakout trades, I'm really just looking for, is there previous support that has been tested multiple times, and this is absolutely, the answer to that question is absolutely it has. So you can clearly kind of wrap this area, all right, as your area of support. And so what happens is within that area we continue to make higher higher highs and higher lows, and then we continue testing those areas, all right? And so you can see here we've been back several times, all right, these little circles that I have drawn in, and this is going to be potentially the last circle if we have a breakout. And now the question then remains, okay, well, if I know that I'm looking for it to potentially break to the downside, where would I be looking for it to go? And then of course, I'm going to begin looking at my next fresh areas of demand. So this level here is of interest to me. So I'm going to come down at that point. Okay, on a break to the downside, I would anticipate that we would see that potential 1406 and even a bit lower. But the issue with that is I wouldn't want to be placing my profit target down into here because that's when the majority of the buyers are most likely to step back in. So if we get out of our trade a little bit early, okay, a little bit above that level, and I feel very confident with the 1406 that we shouldn't have any issues getting filled, and so on and so forth. So we'll come back in, guys. Again, a couple of different scenarios that could play themselves out here. We already do have an order placed above, and we'll see how this works out. If we do get the breakout trade, then we'll look at taking that, and we'll try to wrap a video around either way this thing goes. And just bear with us. Okay, here we go. So for an update, as you can see here, it's been quite a while now. Actually, the video we've had running for just over an hour, and we really haven't gotten filled, obviously, or anything of that nature. But as you can see, the analysis is working itself out. So we did absolutely find the support that we were looking for. It just so happens that in this case, it wasn't a trading opportunity for us, as we've had multiple trading opportunities back here. So out of these levels, if we really go back and kind of draw this in, you can see that we had a nice trading opportunity there. And as an aggressive trader, you have another couple of opportunities here. But once we've been to this area, okay, for multiple times, we start looking elsewhere. And there's a reason that we keep just bouncing off of this level. And we're at that point waiting for the markets to potentially give us a directional change, or at least some confirmation in the direction that it wants to go. So far, we're kind of stuck in a range. So you can see there we have the bottom of that support. We also are going to find resistance just above, so around that 1424 just below, which is good for us. It lands right into our area of supply. And when you go in and try to overanalyze the markets, at least in my experience, a lot of times it becomes more confusing than it's even worth. And so what we tend to do is really, we're not so interested in complete analysis of several different methods. For example, you have your Fibonacci trading, support resistance, supply demand, trend trading, and all of these different time frames and so on. What I've found that works best for me is just to be consistent in what I do. And so I continue to look for these or locate these areas of imbalances, the supply and the demand, and ask myself, does it weigh in with the larger time frame and so on. So we're going to keep this just as it is, and while we're rallying back up here, there's still nothing saying that we're going to revisit this 1420 and above. I mean, there are a lot of supply stepped into the markets, and so we just don't know. But this is how I've found consistency, and just waiting for the trade, because you know, the way that I look at it is we are the technical analyst, and you know, it's our job to value the each market, no matter what you're trading. It's our job to value that market, and when we overvalue the market, then it's obvious that we want to become a seller, and when we undervalue the market, we want to become a buyer. So you know, we are, you know, overvalued if we get back up to that 1421 half where we have our entry, and that's how we feel, or that's what our analysis states that the markets would be. So for that reason, we're going to go ahead and place our entry there, and we'll see if we can get that. Now again, you know, the markets are starting to base here, so you know, if we continue to base and we fail to make new highs here, and perhaps we drop to the downside here, then you know, that's the breakout trade that we mentioned earlier in the video. And so right now we're just waiting. Really would like to see this 1421.5 area, as that will be the better entry of the two. But we'll take what we can get, and hopefully we'll get back in here with a good update, or at least a potential order fill, or you know, something happening pretty soon. Okay, thanks again for your patience. Okay, guys, another quick video here. It's really been about another 20 minutes here, so you know, time's kind of strolling on by here. The reason that we're making that so clear is because of the amount of time that's been spent in this area now. So what we're going to do is see if we can just remove this. Okay, we're going to go just below this level here, and we're going to go ahead and place a sell order here. Okay, I apologize. I need to get rid of this. Okay, and we'll place let's see here. Seem to be having a little bit of difficulty with our order here. Go ahead and it's rejecting our order. Okay, well, let me figure this out. We'll come back in on the update. Alright, we're going to go ahead and see if we can get this order in here. So we'll go ahead and place that sell stop there. Okay, so we have our order pending now, and I'm just going to go ahead and attach an exit strategy here also. Okay, so we can place that. There we go. And now I'm going to move my stop. We're going to actually move our stops above the level here. Okay, go ahead and what we're doing right now is really just predefining a trade, because we're creating an if-then statement, so to speak. So, and I'll explain that in just a moment. So let me take these down, and I want to make sure that I'm looking for enough profit. Now, earlier in the video, we talked about the fact that if we did break down, that we should revisit that 1406 level. So if I've already said that, and I've stated that, and that's my analysis, then I shouldn't go in here and try to scalp this market for just a point or so. I should in fact look for the entirety of the move down. So that's approximately about almost 6 points there. Okay, I think that's right on 5.5 points. So a nice little move to the downside, but in the event that that does happen, what we're doing now is creating an if-then thought process. So, for example, if we violate the low here, okay, I'm going to move that, there we go. Okay, so if we violate the pivot low here that's been formed, all right, that 1412, then I'm going to take a short position, stop above the level, profit target 1 at the 1406, okay, look for profit target 2 at the 1400. Alright, I'm going to go just one tick above that. Okay, as you know, that round number can be very crucial. And then the last contract, we'll just let this kind of reside there and see if we can get a move to the downside. Now, in the event that this does come back up and violate this, of course, we will never be placed into a trade, as we do have a stop order down here. So what we're stating is the only way that we want to enter this trade is if we break down, and then we'll instantly be filled in the market and so on. Otherwise, we don't take a trade at all, and we will then move back up into our order, because this is still a potential trade. Okay, we're just going to only place one entry at a time, as we are here. So right now we're still waiting. Either of the two trades can work out at this point, and we're okay with either one of them. We just need a little bit of movement in the markets here. It's a Monday. It's very slow. And so hopefully we'll get some movement here pretty soon, and as we do, I think we'll have a pretty good trade setup. So we'll come back in as that does take place. Okay, traders, obviously this is going to be the last portion to the video. I want to go ahead and apologize for not getting back in here earlier. We actually, the greatest thing about supply and demand trading, in my opinion, or one of the greatest, I should say, is the fact that you can do, set it and forget it style trades. And it's actually really good because it reduces stress levels. It's a very consistent method of trading when done properly, and a lot of golden things about that. So today is nothing different. Today is just same scenario as general. So you guys saw the trade setup this morning that we talked about. Now we are actually just now returning. And again, this is, I say we meaning I, but again, it's one of those great things. I just got back a little personal note from the gym and so on, so we actually can kind of go out and enjoy my day and get some things done. So I'm at the gym and I'm worryless and just stating okay, great, well if I get back home and I've made money, that's wonderful. So leaving the office, go home and kind of check your trades type of thing. And so, but nonetheless, guys, we'll run back through the trade. And again, I want to apologize for getting back in here so late, but at least you get to see the trade work itself out. Now, ironically, trade worked out almost perfectly. I mean, it's kind of, it's one of those things you kind of look back now and you say, wow, that's, kind of how did I even know that, was going to happen. And the markets never cease to amaze. I'll tell you that much for sure. So what I'm going to run through really quickly here is just I'm going to run through my thought process on the trade at the beginning of the day. And so we looked at that large time frame earlier in the video, and we talked about the probability being to the downside here. The reason that we were finding all of this support and so on and so forth. So I'm not going to hash through the whole video. But as you can see, it really worked out in our favor here. So really nice little trade setup today. So you can recall our shorting opportunity. Now the beautiful thing about it is where we actually hit our profit targets, and this was just at the end of the day. So if we come back in here, we were looking at that 1406, which is right here. Okay. We actually literally hit that. Apparently, we had probably hit that within minutes of us returning towards the end of the day. So we've been back a couple of minutes now, and very lucky to see that. Long enough for us to turn around and place another trade. So as you can see here, we actually do have another trade set up that we have placed. We've actually turned around and potentially considered taking the markets back to the upside. So we always like to think of the markets, after a large decline in price, where do we want to become a buyer? Because as a technical analyst, we're under an overvalue. We're basically valuing or determining where the value of that market lies. And larger time frame, of course, is pushing us to the downside. But if if you're looking for some short-term trading, it can be a great little exit entry point out of these levels of demand and supply and so on and so forth. So that's what we're doing. We ended up with full position off at that 1406 area as we left. We determined that we'd go ahead and take full profits there. Coming back, of course, happy to see that we made money, but we're always looking for the next trade. So here we go. Looking at another entry here at the 1402. Now this is an aggressive, just so I'm very clear about this, this is a very aggressive entry here, and we're only going to look for a very small profit target. You can see we have our trigger level there. So we're really only looking for a couple points out of this particular level here. It happens sometimes where, who knows, right? It could turn right back to the upside and push higher, and that would not surprise us at all, because if we go up to the larger time frame, we did talk about this level here. As we decline into these levels, there's most likely going to be a bit of rally, and we've talked for quite a while now. It actually wouldn't be surprising at all if we turn and push up through this level. That's spent a lot of time there on the larger time frame. We've been there multiple times, and it wouldn't surprise us at all to reach that 1450 level again with some conviction there to the upside. But we don't know that until it happens, and we'll be patient, and until then we'll continue placing the trades just like we always do. And but nonetheless, guys, so it wouldn't really surprise me for the markets to go in any direction. So look back to the smaller time frame. If we know that and we say, well, we've been to this area multiple times, then sure, the probability is likely that we could continue higher. And if we know that, then we're most likely willing to take our entry points when we come back into demand zones. Okay, we are very high on the altitude per the larger time frame, previous swing, and so on. So, which is why we're looking at this as just a very short-term trade. Now, it is overnight trading here, so oftentimes you can just let these trades work themselves out, and come back in the morning and see your profit or loss and so on. So, hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any questions about what we're doing here, just send over an email. You can always send an email to support@purefinancialacademy.com, and I'll be happy to address any questions to the best of my ability. Again, thank you for reviewing the video. I hope it's been of some benefit. And again, I want to apologize for the delay in getting back to this trade, but it's kind of good for me because I didn't have to sit through any of the pain and suffering of it. And this is luck. I mean, looking hindsight now, I mean, I did call the target of the 1406, but going back, there's no way that I knew that it was going to literally stop there for the day. I mean, I had no idea of that. I did know that that's approximation of where we should stop, or better yet, get a bounce from, which was again why I talked about this level back here. Okay, so if you remember that, that's why I was talking about that level, and it just happened to work itself out. So. Nothing wrong with a little luck in our trading, but you can call it luck, you can call it statistical odds, whatever you want, but the statistics they speak for themselves. But anytime you are looking at these demand and supply levels, it's imperative, that you at least consider them in your trading. So I think it's very important to know where the large money is stepping in and out of the market. So again, hope you enjoyed the video, and I look forward to the next one.